Now, with these differentials, we've taken a look at these before, but the parameters here are a little bit different, but incredibly important. Let me set this up. We have the condition and the differentials in the first column. We'll have the blood pressure when it's only relevant to your pathology. PRA stands for plasma renin activity. And they have aldosterone, magnesium only when it's relevant, and urine calcium when it's only relevant. That you find in red is what you're truly paying attention to, because that's unique for that particular pathology. Blue is going to be the consequence of. So let's begin. In Bartter syndrome, where's my pathology? It is going to be in the thick ascending limb. It's a problem with the sodium potassium 2 chloride, isn't it? So you're going to have issues with what exactly? You're going to have issues with your concentrating ability and diluting ability. What else did we talk about with Bartter syndrome? We said that there would be increase in prostaglandins. So therefore, one of the steps of management of Bartter, in fact, is indomethacin. In addition, Bartter syndrome has a very unique feature in which, I want you to go to the last column here, where urine calcium is elevated. On this entire table of differentials, Bartter syndrome is going to be the only one that you and I are going to see as having hypercalciuria. So therefore, is it possible, just possible, that you might have secondary hypoparathyroidism? Yes or no? Good. Yes, you will have secondary hypoparathyroidism. Now, with Bartter syndrome, there would be an increase in aldosterone, and because of that, you would have a decrease in plasma renin activity. Keep that in mind. Let's move on. We have Gittleman syndrome. In Gittleman syndrome, where are you? My problem is in the thiazide sensitive. Do you remember that? That's your sodium channel cotransporter T gene. T representing the thiazide sensitive. Here, right off the back with Gittleman, I want you to go to urine calcium. You see the difference? Here you find your calcium to be really low. And with Gittleman, the two big things here is an increase in PRA, plasma renin activity, and an increase in aldosterone. Now, in addition to your urine calcium being quite low, the serum magnesium will be low. There's enough information here with Gittleman, where once again, in terms of electrolytes and the pathophysiology, you should not be able to get, or you should be able to answer any question confidently. And of the two conditions here, Gittleman and Bartter, what is more common in our society? Gittleman. So you want to spend a little bit more time on Gittleman and getting these facts down, because it's much more common than Bartter. But I can clearly say that both are commonly asked. Little syndrome is interesting. With Little syndrome, all that you want to know is the labs here, and that'll be good enough for you to get any question right. I don't want you to be in a situation where every once in a while you're doing a question and you might not know one condition, but to not know 2 or 3 conditions is rather frustrating. Little syndrome, you find an increase in blood pressure and you find a decrease in plasma renin activity and aldosterone. That is as far as you need to go now with Little. Know that it exists. Liddle. Now, SADH, we talked about this earlier. We will then find an increase in ADH. You are then going to find an increase in blood pressure. In SADH, you will not find pitting edema. You'll be euvolemic. You have a decrease in aldosterone and a decrease in plasma renin activity. Once again, what did I say? Euvolemic. Why? Is SADH, is that really reabsorbing or secreting sodium? Any of that functioning here? No. So sodium is not going to be part of the equation when you have that fluid accumulation. That's interesting and should be known. In Conn syndrome, what's my problem? It's a primary adrenal cortex in which you're only producing, you see that arrow in orange? That's my primary problem. Too much aldosterone, decrease in plasma renin activity. Your patient has what kind of hypertension? Secondary hypertension. And then we have reninoma. Reninoma, where's my problem? Where do you begin? Take a look at the orange arrow. It's plasma renin activity first. And with that occurring, understand that your blood pressure here is in fact going to be increased. This is then called secondary, once again, hypertension. Two very important tables that give you a bunch of differentials that are then affecting the kidney in some way, shape, or form. This table might or might not be too familiar. Make it familiar. All of these labs will be shown, and it's important that you come up with good differentials. You'll be impressed.